Looking to avoid a problem before it happens? In this video, I'll share some common mistakes and how to steer clear of them when making this quick corner quilt. The quick corner method is an easy way to produce triangles, but there can be problems if you're not careful. Always start sewing on the tip of the corner and end at the tip. I veered a little here and I veered a little here, and as a result, this is what happened. Also, make sure that you stay on this side of the line. Don't get distracted by phone calls or TV shows and veer off of that line. This piece won't hit the corner. You'll have to rip out these stitches and re-sew. Every now and then I end up with an intersection that's off a little. This piece is a little short. Not to worry, as long as it's less than 1/4 of an inch off, and I see that this is about 1/8 of an inch, so it's going to be okay. I just move it up a little, not all the way to the edge, but just a little, and I pin. It's kind of like splitting the difference, I guess. And then I would sew into this intersection and continue sewing until I get back on track. Before you begin, make sure your fabric has been pressed. Remember, your accuracy is based on the big three: cutting, sewing, and pressing. Here's what might happen if your fabric isn't pressed or folded properly. I should have a nice straight strip, but it's crooked. When I start a new quilt, I like to check 1 or 2 cuts against the template. You can download this and all other handouts at learnhowtoquilt.com under Patterns. This square looks pretty good. This rectangle looks a little off, so I can just take and trim the excess. Make sure you set aside 1 7.5-inch square and 4 5.5 by 7.5 rectangles before you make your quick corners. More than once, and I should know better, I start sewing all these quick corners on, and I just pick up the extra square, the 5th square, and I start sewing these small squares to it, like I did in this quilt. I should have set one aside, but instead what I had to do was go cut an extra square. Luckily on the pattern there's a little room for making a mistake, and you can fit a 7.5-inch extra one. And the same is true of these rectangles. If you make a mistake on one of them, there should be a little extra for you to cut another one. But if you go through 4 of them, you'll have a problem. Earlier in this series, I gave you a warning about directional fabric. I've put these 2 quilts on the design wall to use as examples. The floral is mixed with an orange gingham. The gingham is small enough in scale that I won't worry about matching the lines. Some might like this quilt better if all the gingham rows lined up, but I'm okay that it doesn't. Now look at the navy stars. The fabric doesn't appear directional, but it is. I wanted all the bunnies standing up. I had to work really hard on getting all those quick corners to line up. Now take a look at the navy star quilt. I moved the top right stars center so the bunnies don't line up. Do you notice a difference? I'm not saying this is wrong or right. I'm just pointing out what happens if your directional fabric doesn't line up. I also wanted to call attention to the cut-up floral fabric. I thought I would like the floral print in the stars, but when I cut it up, I decided it looks too choppy. The flowers are spaced too far apart for the stars' rays. If you want to try out fabric ahead of time, cut out a 7-inch square and use this to see if the pattern looks okay. You can also cut out a triangle to interview the fabric to see how it'll look in the stars' rays. Hope you decide to make this 4-star quilt. I'd love to post a photo of your completed quilt top at our site. Remember, you can find copies of all the handouts for this quilt at learnhowtoquilt.com under Patterns. Quick corner quilts make great beginner projects. If you would like more information about quick corners, check out the entry in our encyclopedia. Thanks for visiting learnhowtoquilt.com. Please share our videos with your friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks.